Hey cousins, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. And I feel like it's been a minute since I've been live on here talking to you guys. Last week we had some very special episodes, an expose, dare I say, where we talked about the Damori Hadley story. If you have not gone and watched that yet, I am begging and pleading for you to watch and share that story because that is a story that has been suppressed by pretty much every major outlet. You have these powerful figures at Rock Nation who are allegedly going out of their way to make sure that the truth of them being exposed and all the corrupt things that they are allegedly doing to keep people quiet or afraid in Hollywood, they don't want that to be out there. So to be able to sit down with Damori Hadley, the daughter of Desiree Perez, who is the CEO of Rock Nation, that was a very powerful thing. And we were actually the last people that were able to interview Damori Hadley because hours, and I mean hours after we finished our interview, she ended up having a gag order put onto her. So if you haven't seen this situation yet, it's way too much for me to summarize. You need to go back and watch that episode. It was such a big deal that Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap, the undisputed queen of rap, Nicki Minaj herself, actually went and reposted it on Twitter. So thank you so much to Nicki Minaj for sharing Damori Hadley's story. Thank you to all the Barbs, the Nicki Minaj super fans that reached out to me to get me to sit down with Damori Hadley. And please do everything you can to raise awareness about that situation. Shout out to Impressive Channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may have heard of Impressive Channel, iconic independent pop culture journalist with well over 1 million followers and subscribers. Actually used some of the clips from Respectfully and did a deep dive on this topic, and I'm so grateful. I literally had tears coming to my eyes because I was so happy to see more light be shined on the Damori Hadley story. So again, head over to my YouTube. It's just on my personal YouTube, not on PragerU's yet. Respectfully Xavier on YouTube, and check out the Damori Hadley story. Now that being said, today we're gonna have a key. We're gonna have a little key because it was so heavy last week that we needed to have a good laugh. And right when I was looking for what should we talk about today, I saw that Jaguar, the luxury vehicle company, they are in the trenches. If you guys remember, we're gonna bring it up in just a minute. If you guys remember that Jaguar put out this disgusting, cringe, woke ad and this whole rebrand attempt to try to make themselves seem young, fresh, and cool, and it backfired so badly. Their sales are in the toilet, and it inspired me to think, what are some of the biggest woke marketing fails ever? So I actually asked Grok over on Twitter, or X, about what were the biggest fails, and we put together a list that I haven't seen most of these commercials yet, so I'm really excited to react to them live today. But that being said, y'all know the vibes. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Send in your super chats. Welcome to Respectfully. Okay, so let's just go ahead, just to even start, before I even talk about the Jaguar ad, for anyone who had the pleasure of not seeing it yet, my bad, but I need y'all to see this Jaguar ad that has just led to all this turmoil. Busted looking. Create exuberant. Live vivid. Delete ordinary. Copy nothing. So, okay, the thing is about this ad, like, why are we celebrating objectively hideous people? And it's actually not even that the people are hideous, because most of their face cards are actually T, but it's just like the styling, the non-binary of it all. It's like, nobody wants this. When you look at like Jaguar historically, Jaguar was always such a sexy, sleek, vintage feeling car with like this classic appeal to it. Nobody is going to Jaguar because they want something non-binary and futuristic, but instead that's what they served to us. It's basically like we asked for fine dining and you gave us gas station fish plates. That's what Jaguar was doing with this ad. And of course, everybody was just cringing because it's like, first of all, who even is still buying Jaguars these days? But let alone after this ad, like nobody was excited to buy this kind of car. The only person, and it's not even that the car itself was hideous, like the rebrand of the cars wasn't the worst thing in the world. Like I could see somebody being like, that, you know, finding that appealing, but it's just the ad and the energy that you put behind this like nobody wants to look like these non-ordinary, non-binary people. Okay. And as someone who really prides themselves and just enjoying the art form that is marketing, it's like when you put people in your commercial and you put people into your advertisements, essentially you're supposed to want to feel and look and have the vibe of the people that you have inside of your advertisement. Like if you look at some of the most iconic car commercials ever, they make you feel just like so badass, basically, when you get into certain vehicles. But what is this? Nobody wants to look like that. Come on. And the people who do look like that, and the people who look like this can't afford a Jaguar. You're lucky if these people can afford a Prius. They're spending all their money on hormone blockers. And for some of them on Big Macs, but I'm not going to say which one. And I'm not necessarily talking about the one you think I am. That's the gag. But I'm talking about her too. Woman of width. Nobody wants, this is just not it. So just for you guys to see how much of a fail this was, even just like financially speaking, this was one of the biggest fails I've ever seen. So shout out to my friend Ali London, who I got to hang out with in Israel. Hey, Ali, we're talking about you. Ali put this tweet up and a lot of people were talking about it and I was baffled. So Jaguar sales plunge 97.5% in Europe after disastrous copy nothing woke rebrand. The company sold just 49 cars. 49? Do you know how insane that is to only sell 49 cars? Most dealerships would be out of business if they owned, like just in general would be out of business if they only sold 49 cars. But to say that the entire brand only sold 49 cars in the month of April is insane. And that's all throughout Europe. So not even just the whole country, the whole continent. The whole continent, you're only selling 49 cars? It makes sense because there's only 49 people probably in Europe that look like that can afford it. So following the backlash over the company's rebrand, so Jaguar Europe sales plunged from 1,961 units in April 2024 to just 49 vehicles in 2025. Now, mind you, they were already failing. The brand was already dying because if you're selling under 2,000 units in the whole month of April across Europe, that to me already sounds like your brand is dying. And there were a few people who were putting out stats of like how some of their competitors were doing in sales, and they were selling tens of thousands of units per month. So Jaguar was already on life support. And then this woke rebrand really just pulled the plug on them. 49. If you're only selling 49 vehicles, just pack it up. The Jaguar is extinct now. You are officially an endangered species, Jaguar, because you decided to go and heat up these disgusting nachos that nobody asked for. So that was the inspiration today. Let's get into some more of these because I've seen that Jaguar ad and I want to see the rest of what Grok says are the biggest woke marketing fails.
Hi, it's me, Pattie Gonia, a real-life homosexual. And today I'm here with the North Face. We are here to invite you to come out in nature with us. Wow, this is nice. We like to call this little tour the Summer of Pride. This tour has everything. Hiking, community, art, lesbians making art. Last year, we gay saw shade across the nation and celebrated Pride across the nation with hundreds of you across the nation. This year, we're back again with 2 new stops. Atlanta, GA. Why? Because you're there. In Salt Lake City, we're coming for you.
Pattie, can we go?
Of course! This year, all these fabulous speakers will be coming from inside this TV to a nature near you. So come outside and celebrate the beautiful LGHG community. That's pretty gay.
Bruh. That was so stupid. I've never seen that one. Okay, I'm literally... First of all, I just know that ad made so many more people homophobic. I just know it. Because, you know what? What I can at least respect is that it sounds like that guy identifies as a gay dude and not just like a tranny. I mean, at least... Can I say this? I mean, Pride Month's over now. Can we have an honest conversation? Is this a safe space? Because that was insane. So Patagonia is this outdoor brand. I mean, is that their target audience? Gay outdoor people? I don't even know what to say about how chaotic that was. It was at least funny. It was clever. But I really want to know I'm curious about how bad the backlash of this was. Pattie Gonia is crazy. A real life homosexual as opposed to what? A fake one? An AI one? And then also it's just like the groomer of it all. Like just the nature of no pun intended, but just like the overall nature of this just feels like I feel like I need to go like wash my clothes. Like it's just like put on some hand sanitizer watching this. Mr. Rodriguez, how do you feel about this? I need to know Mr. Rodriguez's opinion on this right now.
I mean, I'm confused. I'm real
Don't
confused.
say that to Patagonia because she might start. He might start thinking you're confused about something else. But at least Patagonia knows his gender.
Right, but I am just at a loss. I don't even know how. I mean, who approved this? I mean, you have to think to yourself too. With this such established company, you're like, wow, like somebody had to write this up and go through a board and yeah, we got something here. And then they're like, genius, great idea. This absolutely makes sense. And just to see Patagonia don't even look like he's doing much hiking at all.
Right.
Like, what?
See, that's what's throwing me off. It's like nobody in nature is looking like that. The only time you see people dressed like that outside is a Pride festival, and usually it's because they're on their way to have sex in public. No shade.
You know, all that was missing from this commercial was a nice big rainbow bear.
A rainbow bear.
A rainbow bear. That would have been like, I would have been like, okay, cool. Maybe you got me there. That's pretty visually appealing. But aside from that, weird.
The visual I just had of Yogi Bear with like a pride flag wrapped around him, like, don't make the Bears gay. It's like the Chicago Bears are already getting screwed over enough. It's like, can the Bears have peace? That was crazy. I have no other comments, but I will at least say it was kind of funny. It was just extremely cringe and awkward, and it shows again that these people do not know their audience. Let's see the next one.
Hi. Impressive
This
carrying
wench.
skills, right? I got some Bud Lights for us. So, I kept hearing about this thing called March Madness, and I thought we were all just having a hectic month, but it turns out it has something to do with sports. And I'm not sure exactly which sport, but either way, it's a cause to celebrate. This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it. Check out my Instagram story to see how you can enjoy March Madness with Bud Light and maybe win some money too. Love ya! Cheers! Go team! Whatever team you love, I love too. Okay.
I bet you do.
Love ya. Okay.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, bye. Like, I get awkward and anxious just watching Dylan Mulvaney. I feel like there's nothing else I can possibly say about Dylan Mulvaney. You know, it makes total sense why this was included on Grok's list of biggest marketing fails, because this was just so disastrous. And then honestly, worse than the campaign itself, dare I say, was the handling of the campaign backlash, where Anheuser-Busch, like, instead of just... It's like you do one of two things. You either just act like it didn't happen and you keep moving on, or you straight up apologize. But instead they gave like a half-baked apology where it was like you didn't quite stand with the non-progressive people who were offended and thrown off by this, because Bud Light's target audience definitely are not Dylan. It's not Dylan Mulvaney fans. And then at the same time, it's like you have the progressives who are now irritated that you didn't stand by Dylan Mulvaney. But that was like one of the biggest marketing disasters ever. I can only talk about Dylan Mulvaney so many times in a quarter. And I feel like, what was it, like a month ago that I just did I did a real deep dive on the Dylan Mulvaney effect, because I think there was a lot that deserved to be unpacked there. Because the big question I have with Dylan Mulvaney is, were we too harsh, or was the backlash justified? And revisiting the whole Dylan Mulvaney saga, like a year after removing myself from even paying attention to anything that had to do with Dylan Mulvaney, it really was eye-opening, because there are some ways where I feel like we got a little too harsh sometimes, but at the same time, it was fully justified because what Dylan was pushing, and like the whole strategic, calculated media push for Dylan Mulvaney, I feel like was the epitome of the downfall and the demoralization of our society. But at the same time, I can't be a hypocrite and not acknowledge the fact that constantly reacting to Dylan's videos and constantly buying into, you know, the backlash and the rage bait of the Dylan Mulvaney era, it's like conservatives gave Dylan more PR and more of a more of an underdog storyline and story arc than any other media push possibly could have done. So I have nothing else to say about Dylan Mulvaney, but that was a failure. And to this day, I'm irritated because I can't drink my favorite beer in public, which used to be Bud Light Platinum, but I can't have gluten like that anymore anyway. So we're all good. Oh, $25 super chat. Shout out to the Outlaw Feminist. Really enjoy your content. I appreciate your nuanced point of view. Huge fan. Oh, thank you. Thank you, cousin. I appreciate you. And, you know, that's actually one of my favorite compliments. I really appreciate that when someone acknowledges that there's nuance, because one thing that I have felt like for so long has been missing from so many political and cultural conversations is the ability to have nuance. It's like, I do not want to be just a screaming voice in an echo chamber. And I don't say that in a pick me kind of way, because how can I be a pick me if I'm the one doing the selecting? Okay, let's make that very clear. But it's like being able to look more objectively and like step out of the momentum that's going towards certain conversations. And for someone with my background, I think that's especially important because I used to be a BLM activist and I got caught up in so much of the hype of the woke movements that like I never want to be caught up in a fraudulent movement again, whether it's conservative, liberal, progressive, etc. So that being said, thank you for the super chat, and let's go to another. Oh, this one's iconic. Shout out to Kendall Jenner. You're the Chosen is crazy on this. Period. This is so stupid. Whew. Okay, everybody on this team should have been fired. Okay, so for context of this one, this was in the height of like the Summer of Love stuff. Everybody was protesting. Like it got to the point where people were going outside to protest. You would ask them, what are you going to protest? And they didn't even know yet. Like people were just going outside to march, just to march. Like everybody was walking with me before I was even walking. Like, and I can't even lie. Like back in this era, I was protesting in BLM and doing all that kind of stuff too. And I was a clown. I was such a clown. But the whole premise of this is this, this idea that privileged supermodel Nepo baby Kendall Jenner respectfully walks up to this police officer and single-handedly ended wars and healed society by handing a police officer a Pepsi. You have women in hijabs gagged that Kendall Jenner just handed this man a Pepsi. You have lesbians, you have Stop Asian Hate, you have Rihanna's ex-boyfriend that used to hit her. You have all these different demographics just cheering and jumping up and down because Kendall Jenner gave this police officer a Pepsi. And you know what I will say, Kendall was so young when this happened, because I think Kendall's a year older than me. This was like 5 years ago. So I would guess she was in her like 24-ish. She was definitely in her mid-20s. She didn't know any better. She was getting her bag with the Pepsi deal. The backlash that Kendall Jenner got, I think, was really unfair. I think, like, yeah, it was naive of her to do this, but it's not her job to be the marketing expert, okay? It's like her job was to be a supermodel, walk up, do the campaign. Your logistics team and your campaign team are who are supposed to be the ones that do like the risk analysis. Why does this woman in a hijab have a nose ring? That just clicked to me. Are they boom? Haram. Ain't that against Sharia law? How are you in a hijab with a nose ring? Are there any Muslims in the live chat? Is that allowed? Is that allowed in Islam? Is that? I'm genuinely curious. If not, haram. Like, how are you going to have three different types of inclusivity at the same time? And the gag is, that's probably a Hispanic woman. That's the funniest part. I bet you that's a Hispanic woman who lied at the role. Bet. Look into it. Actually, then again, with that nose isn't giving Hispanic. That's definitely giving Middle Eastern. No shade. Beautiful nose. Beautiful girl. And a hijab with a nose ring. Haram. So, all that to say, lesbians. So, this whole thing. But no, it was crazy that Kendall got the backlash. But Pepsi, it's like, what were you thinking? You really thought it wasn't tone deaf? Even as somebody who in retrospect doesn't even like BLM anymore, that was so tone deaf. Like, to think that you can just heal wars and end all of society. That's basically like if someone just said, like, chill out, bro. And you just you just ended the war in Gaza. Like, you single-handedly just restored peace in Judea by handing somebody a can of diabetes. That's what you did? That was crazy. That was actually just horrible, piss poor marketing. And whoever put that on the board, like, I get what you were going for, but that was a crash and burn, like, just unprecedented levels. And then, oh, we got another super chat. Oh, y'all got a little coin on y'all today. Thank you. So, convinced that Xavier is Carl Anthony Towns' long lost brother. Next level zesty. Love you, Xavier Anthony Towns. Period. You know what? The zesty allegations, I'll accept it because it's your girl's favorite flavor. Oh, you know what? Maybe. You know what? I don't think we're long lost brothers because my mama's not a thought. But you know what? Shout out to Jake. That's not my long lost brother, but it probably is my cousin. We're all cousins around here. When you round up, we all go back to Judea in some way or another. Well, not all. We're not all chosen, but no shade. But, you know, we could be long lost cousins. And shout out to my zesty brother, my zesty cousin that is out there. Let's keep going. Let's do one more, and then after this next one, everybody move over to my personal YouTube. We are cutting the feed from all the other channels that Respectfully is on. I want you guys to come over to my personal YouTube. Rent is due. It is the first of the month. So come over to my YouTube, take a break, type in Respectfully Xavier. Again, it is Xaviaer. Again, Xaviaer, Respectfully Xavier. Head over to my YouTube or just youtube.com/@Xavier and come over to my YouTube so we can continue the feed. And we're going to do one more before we move over to my YouTube.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Slow. First of all, the lesbian is running slow. So no, I don't care. No. If my house is on fire, God forbid. If you think that I care about what the person looks like that is coming to rescue my family and loved ones out of a fire, you're insane. Like, you're actually insane. I also find it funny that like, visibly they both look like lesbians. They're talking about we need more female firefighters. Where are the girly pops? No girly pop. Shout out to the lesbians this episode. It's just so funny to me. Whoever, find me one person on this planet who has had an emergency, a fire situation, and what they care about is for the department to get together and be like, okay, we got to make sure that there is DEI on the squad. We need to make sure that there is a Black person, a Jew, a gay, and maybe even somebody disabled to come and rescue this person from a fire. Like, that's just such clownery. Absolute clownery. I'm also surprised that, is this a company? This is just firefighters in general, Mr. Rodriguez? That Grok pulled up?
Yeah, I think this is, let me double check to make sure it's produced by, I'm wondering who produced it.
Because I'm just curious, who is funding that? Like, who says we're going to use our money? We're going to use our 8K cameras.
I believe that's from legit, like the Los Angeles Fire Department. So that was like a...
Of course it is. Let me sit up because now that just pissed me off. So you're telling me, y'all gonna stop clowning me about always having to fight with this earpiece. I can't stand this earpiece. You're telling me Karen Bass, you wench. Of course it was Karen Bass, the Black lesbian, that is funding for the fire department to sit here and go on this whole tirade about the fact that we want people to come save us in fires that look like us. No, when there is a fire in our homes, we want there to be water in the fire hydrants. We want to know that there was brush that was cleaned up so that the fire fire isn't widespread. We want to know that all of our fire insurance policies weren't canceled a month before all of these fires just suddenly started burning in a very, very strategic pattern, if you get what I'm saying. So no, nobody in Los Angeles cares about the demographic of the firefighter. We want to know that the firefighter has the tools and the equipment and the quantity of co-workers and colleagues that can actually come and save us from the fires. You think about the people who died and the amount of things that were lost and the amount of homes that were lost, the amount of lives destroyed, businesses destroyed, ecosystems destroyed because of the fires in California, and you're telling me that we were spending money on lesbians with great haircuts? That was a nice fade on that lesbian. We're talking about overweight, big backed, light skinned, well faded lesbians coming and telling us that when people have a fire in their home, they want people to come there that looks like them. No, we don't. We want people to come that look like they have water in the fire hydrants. That's what we want. That's what we want. I don't care about you. Oh my goodness. That just made me so mad because it had to be LA. It had to be LA. How has she not been recalled? You know what? When it comes to Los Angeles, I love Los Angeles, but people are like, what's it going to take? What's it going to take for Los Angeles to finally start voting these people out and for Los Angeles to start getting itself together? Los Angeles has not been destroyed enough. Los Angeles has not been set on fire enough. Los Angeles has not been taken over by drugs and homeless and chaotic, dangerous people enough. Because once we have had enough abuse from our own elected officials and had enough abuse from the system that the people have put in power, then we will do what it takes to make the replacements that are necessary. We will do what it takes to we will do what it takes to have the call to action to save Los Angeles. Because I love Los Angeles. Okay, I just had a video go viral like a week or two ago because people were asking me, like, if I'm conservative, why do I live in LA? And I had to let y'all know it's because I don't eat gluten, I don't eat dairy, I don't like humidity, I don't like snow. I've been wronged by way too many obese people. I don't like poverty. So I have to stay in Los Angeles. And plus, PragerU is here, Air One is here, so I'm staying in Los Angeles. But that being said, I want to fight for Los Angeles. But Los Angeles has to fight for Los Angeles. Los Angeles has to want more for itself. Because we just saw the Pacific Palisades, Mr. Rodriguez on me, 501c3. Let me just go ahead and put out a disclaimer. PragerU is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we do not endorse political candidates or political parties. What you just heard was an opinion of me. Me, period. Which is a great reminder, actually, to head over to my personal YouTube. But all that to say, the call to action of saving Los Angeles will happen when the people of Los Angeles have been abused enough. Okay? So before we have any more 501c3 guideline violations, which it wasn't a violation because it was my personal opinion. That wasn't PragerU. So head over to my personal YouTube at Xavier. That is that is youtube.com/@Xavier, or just type in Xaviaer on YouTube. We are continuing the stream with way more cringe things to react to over on my personal YouTube. So grab a snack and come on back. We still have a show to do. Come over to Respectfully Xavier YouTube. Now let's go to the next one. See, Mr. Rodriguez keeps me in line on this channel, child. I have not seen this one. Is he about to... What in the Final Destination? Oh, sir. No. What is this promoting? I'm uncomfortable. Oh. I'm gagged. So basically, Hyundai just made an ad saying that their water emissions are so clean that even if you try to take your own life, you can't. I'm genuinely just aghast by that. That's crazy. First of all, to sit here and make a joke, okay, like on a serious note, when it comes to the mental health discussion, how dare you? That was just so audacious. I don't know what boardroom in Japan, because they got the suicide forest over there. So I don't know if they've just been desensitized to the mental health situation that this is, but that's crazy work right there. To make such a joke out of taking your own life to like, to say that our car is so clean that even if you try to end it all, you can't. Crazy. That is a crazy conversation to have. And I don't know who was depressed inside of that boardroom to think that this was a good idea, but like, that's actually wild. Like, even if you were going to try to do something as distasteful as that, you should have at least like partnered with like a mental health nonprofit or institution or something. Like, still would have been distasteful, but like there were ways that they could have tried to spin that, but still, like, who are you marketing that for? To press teenagers? Like people who are like just got done with a 5150 and we're about to end it all, and now they want to get a car that doesn't let them end it all. Like, I don't even know what that looks like. What does that conversation do? So I do have a couple notes from here. So from Grok, it says that Grok said that the ad was withdrawn, significant reputational damage. So yeah, I would assume so. Prompted internal review of advertising approval processes. That should have already happened. So that was Hyundai Clean Air, don't want to say that word, 2013. That's crazy. That's actually just like that wasn't even like, I don't even know if I would consider that woke. I mean, because I don't think the whole conversation about clean emissions is necessarily inherently woke. Like, it gets woke, but I don't even know if I would consider that woke. That was just distasteful. Like, I'm offended by that, and I'm not offended in the same way as like Patagonia, the butch lesbian, no, it wasn't a lesbian, it was a gay dude in the rainbow outside marching in the outside wear. The first one that we reacted to, like, that was offensive because it was just ugly and annoying and obnoxious. This was actually offensive. Like, that was just scary. Ooh, Hyundai, you better count your days. Oh no, no. Let's keep it moving.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Oh, here we go.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
It's likely happening here in bullying as well. A problem
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says it's
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
It's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
To be honest, I understand why that's like cringe and annoying, because like the whole Me Too movement, because like I'm seeing in the notes, this one was from 2019. This was like towards the height of the Me Too movement. I don't have too much to say about this. Like, yeah, it's cringe. It's corny. It's a little forced, but I don't think it's so forced to be outraged by. I could see people being annoyed about this because it's like, what does razors have to do with, sexual assault and harassment? But at the same time, it's like, in that era, trying to be like objective about it, I can understand why they made this commercial. I'm not horribly disgusted by this ad. And I also think it was well done, to be honest. Like, if you're going to make a woke ad, I think this was relatively well done. Am I tripping, Mr. Rodriguez? I don't think this is that bad. Like, it's cringe, but I don't think it's not the end of the world.
I mean, in comparison to what we were watching, it's a lot less calm, I would say. But again, I think it's toting that line of making it seem as if, oh yeah, like this is a serious issue that is so predominant amongst men. And I think to myself, it's like, I think there's some generalizations that are happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And so
true.
I think that being said, I like how the ad was made. It was very professional. It was very, well thought out. Yes, there are issues. There are certain things that in the ad that make you think. Yeah. And I think that's something that they did a well done job on doing that. Mm-hmm. I think ads need to be doing more of that to emotionally move you. But just because it emotionally moves you doesn't mean that it's correct.
Right.
And so I think there's a lot of things here that can be dissected and that need to be discussed even further. And in that time with the Me Too movement, yeah, I think that's crazy. But if anything, from that Me Too movement, it showed too that a lot of the women that were a part of that movement, whether for a genuine cause or for nefarious means, I believe that a lot of women realized, hey, we have a lot of power here. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty dangerous considering there are people in that movement who probably want to take advantage of that. And so I just think that there's a lot of different facets and elements to hit from this, but it certainly makes you think. And it's like, okay, well, nicely put together, but there's a lot of generalizations here. Mm-hmm. And so I can't really get behind it, but I would say that it's a well-made ad, mm-hmm. and it certainly moves the emotion. And that's what we know for sure. A lot of big companies or people that are on the left, they know how to do. That's how they galvanize people to get behind these movements, and to move them is to move the emotions. Mm-hmm. But again, that's why we have to be able to discern, even if we are emotionally impacted, what is truth and what is the conversation? What are the facts here? And I think that a lot of that is glossed over in this ad.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And it doesn't quite, it's like kind of teetering the line of villainizing men, but it doesn't fully villainize men at the same time. And this, giving context, because I think because again, I don't want to be a hypocrite. When we analyze things from the past, you have to remember the mindset of society at that point in time, even when it's recent. And in 2019, I feel like this is before go woke, go broke was a real thing. And the other element of this was before the Me Too movement started shedding its own credibility. If I remember correctly, because I'm trying to remember when that was. I know it was around that era where like people started to realize, okay, a lot of these Me Too people, they're lying. Because on paper, the Me Too movement was less fraudulent than BLM for what it could have been. The Me Too movement, elements of it I respect, because we're not going to sit here and pretend like in Diddy's America that there aren't serious issues that come to these boundaries that are being violated and overstepped when it comes to women being, assaulted and all these different things. Trying to be careful with my words because of YouTube. But at the same time, it's like this was at that point where it was a very heated discussion of how much credibility can we give to someone just because they say Me Too. But again, from a marketing standpoint, I understand this ad. So I'm not repulsed by it. I'm not repulsed. I would say that this ad is one of the more palatable, one of the more digestible ones of these woke ones that came with a lot of backlash. I'm seeing here on the notes that this one sparked boycott and calls for backlash. Sales remain stable for some demographics, and that it gained support from progressive audiences, boosting brand loyalty among some groups. And that makes sense to me. Like, that's one of those ads that's going to be inherently polarizing, which I think just wasn't smart for their sales necessarily. But at the same time, in the name of ESG especially, I understand this ad, so I'm not too mad at it. Okay, so let's go to another one. Sometimes you have to beat the conservatives are always angry allegations. I'm not always angry about everything.
And just another note here, too. I'm reading that the Me Too movement start date was 2006.
Oh.
So I'm like, wow, even me, I thought it wasn't that far back. So, boy, really? Time flies.
Wow. Because I'm just trying to think of when it gained traction. Because I'm trying to remember if I was in high school or college because I graduated high school in 2015, and I feel like I was in high school when it really started to gain traction, and then it was like late 2010s is when people started to realize, oh, people are just blatantly lying. A lot of these people aren't actually going through anything. So that's interesting.
This one that we have coming up it's more so pulled from a news clip because it seems that though the company had done a good job at trying to scrub, I guess, this ad. I guess they regretted it heavily. Mm-hmm. But again, here we go.
So it's Burger King, people just eating burgers with chopsticks. Okay, I've seen enough. Literally, and I mean literally, all I have to say about this is I'm not offended because it's racist. I'm offended because it's stupid. I'm literally offended because it's stupid. Because what do you mean? Like, if they would have been better off using some kind of CGI editing method where like people would be eating with the chopsticks normally and picking up the burger. That'd be low-key funny. That'd be low-key really funny. I don't even know what the purpose of that was. I don't know who that was supposed to appeal to. That was just stupid. Why are you eating a burger with these big old chopsticks? First of all, you big-backed, wide people. Like, when you eat with chopsticks, part of the appeal of eating with chopsticks is because you eat less. Because when you eat at a more... Because a lot of you just scarf the food. A lot of you might as well just take your hands, scoop out the food, and yum, yum, yum. Like, that's how you eat. A lot of you eat like you're in prison and like it's your last meal. A lot of you eat like you're a human vacuum. No shade. But that being said, when you eat with chopsticks, you can only pick up a small amount at the same time. So it helps you not have that big of a back, which is part of why the Asians tend to be in better shape. Now, a burger, what do you mean you're eating this big old burger with a chopstick? Like, it's not even funny. I don't find this funny. I don't find this cute. I just find this annoying. And the burger is so clearly not cooked. Because, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those like little tricks that they do to make the food look cooked in commercials, but they don't actually cook the food. They just basically like reverse microwave it. They warm up the outside rather than the inside. But like this just looks raw and dirty and unsanitary, and they're not even actually biting the burger. Like, everything about this is stupid. And what are those big old chopsticks? Like, girl, those are like kendo sticks at this point.
Then one detail it says here in the video, the caption read, "Take your taste buds all the way to Ho Chi Minh City with our,"
what?
And I guess they're going to talk about their burger, whatever they're promoting here. So it was done, I guess, in poor taste.
Stupid. Next. Like, that's just stupid. Like, they thought they ate that. That was just so stupid. Like, I swear, these people must be hiring their marketing team from Craigslist. Do we have any others?
It's time for us to get comfortable with an uncomfortable conversation about race.
Oh, here we go.
Black, white,
Hispanic,
auntie. Asian, male, female, all of us. If we truly believe in equal opportunity and equal rights, we cannot afford to be colorblind. We must be color brave. If you're a part of a hiring process or an admissions process, you can be color brave. If you're someone putting together a brainstorming session for work or school, you can be color brave. If you're sitting with a group of people at a table and you're trying to solve a really hard problem and you notice that everyone looks like you can stand up and be color brave.
You know what? Yeah, let's be color brave. You know, when I hear the word color brave, I think it's white people. It's about time you start telling black people like this. It's like, hang it up. Hang it up like a flat screen. This is so tired, lame, lazy, and played out. Oh, we gotta be color brave. We have to be so brave to be black. Here I am, rich and on stage and getting all these flowers and have your undivided attention, but I want to tell you that I'm brave because I'm blickety black. Girl, shut up. Everybody just wants to be Harriet Tubman. Shout out to black women. Shout out to black women. Shout out to the black women who don't feel like they have to just... Ew. Like, what did she say? Don't be color blind, be color brave. Was that the comparison?
I believe so.
Color blind. It's like, okay, so it's like 1 second you don't want people to see color because you want them to see them for the content of your character. Then you realize, oh, when they see them. No, because this is the tea. This is the tea that nobody wants to unpack. The reason why, I'm about to spill some here because it just dawned on me. The reason why the narrative went from being you should be colorblind to no, actually, I want you to see color is because when you're colorblind, you start to see people by the content of their character, by their actions, and by the results that they bring to the table. And a lot of these people who constantly will tell you that they want you to view them for their skin color is because they have no substance beyond that. Wake it up. If we're being honest, Because, we talk color on this show. If you are constantly saying you want people to see color, it's because you have nothing else to show. It's because you have no other credentials to stand on. Now, this woman being on stage, I'm assuming she's accomplished quite a bit. And wait, who is she again? Was she
She's the president, of Starbucks.
President of Starbucks, rich.
It's time for us.
Okay, I didn't even look at that. President, Starbucks Board of Directors. Girl, I promise you, other than that terrible haircut, I promise you, you have so much more to talk about and be proud of than just your skin color, okay? Might be a really nice lady, but the narrative that, oh no, don't be colorblind, we want you to see color, we want you to be brave about color. How about you just be brave to go open up a textbook? How about you be brave to just go get a job and without having to play the victim, okay? Because to have this constant victim mindset that your skin color needs to be the crutch that you are standing on in order to acquire opportunities, you are not brave. You are pathetic. You're sad. You're lazy. And if you're hardworking like this woman clearly must be and still have that mindset, then dare I say you're delusional. And you might just be racist. Such clownery. And now that I see that one, I think I do remember what that campaign was. Wasn't that the Race Together one? Where they had like the cups where they were handing people Starbucks cups that said Race Together on it.
I think it might have been tied to that. I remember that as well. I'm not certain if that one was specifically tied to it, but it is tied to it. Yeah, so Will just confirmed it is tied to it.
Yeah, shout out to Will in the back.
That's right. Shout out to Will.
That's just I remember there was this era where they were handing out cups and on the Starbucks cups it said Race Together. So it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like so Race Together inherently means you want white people to, and all other demographics, to be hand in hand with other people of color as we move towards the mission of ideally making this country a better country. Well, you can't race together when you're constantly telling white people that they need to sit down. You can't race together when you're constantly telling white people that they're racist or that they're not doing enough by just not being racist. Okay, this notion of you have to be anti-racist, you have to go out of your way to be super not racist. It's like inherently all you're doing is telling people to hyperfixate on race, and it's corny. It's corny. But honestly, the only thing worse than that speech was the fact that Starbucks is giving half of you diabetes. Next.
North Face, known best for its warm, cozy jackets, is offering an hour-long racial equity course in an effort to make outdoor activities less racially oppressive. They're going to throw in a 20% coupon on their merch if you sign up, noting that white privilege can give you access to the outdoors when others can be excluded because of historic, enduring racism and biases.
Systemic action is around long-term vision of making the outdoors more accessible for everyone, including people of color.
It's so beautiful because it's just breaking all the norms and barriers and everything, and it's showing you can do anything with hijab.
I wonder if she has a winter hijab.
Outdoors and being black outdoors and being visibly black and being like, this is stuff that we do, like almost changing the perception or makeup of what a climber looks like.
Okay, what's actually extra funny about this one being on the list is I was on this news hit with Laura Ingraham. I actually come in right after that intro, and so what happened in this one with the North Face one is North Face had this whole little seminar you could do online. And once you did the seminar, which was like an hour to an hour and a half long, depending how much you paid attention, then you take a quiz at the end and you pass the quiz and then you get the 20% off. And I'm not kidding. It was the dumbest thing I have ever spent time doing besides marching for BLM, because like it says on there that there's white privilege to be able to go outside. Do you think that when I go outside, I'm being subjugated to racism by the sun? If anything, white people are the ones who don't have privilege because they're the ones who burn. No shade. It's actually, y'all need the shade. So yes, shade, you're welcome. So when it comes to like this idea that white privilege is what keeps people of color indoors, maybe black people just don't like certain activities. I don't know that many black people who like to go do snow activities. Some do, but not many. It's not because they can't. I mean, financially, there's like some people who can't afford to get up there. But if that's the case, then they likely will do something that's outdoorsy in the area that they're in. But this notion that the outdoors is racist is insane. But as someone who took that quiz, I took that whole assessment, and Laura actually quizzed me on it live, and she was so impressed that I actually took the whole thing. And it was so stupid. It basically, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm not kidding. It drew a parallel that because George Floyd died, we need more black snowboarders. I'm like, George Floyd was skiing on a different type of slope, and that's how he ended up in the situation that he was in. No shade. But all that to say, it's like, what do you mean? Because of racism and because of racial injustices of the past, we need more black people to go hiking. What? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Like, that was just one of those things where it was just like the leap and the way that they jumped off the cliff to try to make that add up was just insane to me. Absolutely insane. North Face, that was cringe. I forgot that was why I don't even buy North Face anymore, because they have great products. But to sit here and say that, it's like honestly so insulting to the intelligence of people of color to sit here and tell us that we don't go outdoors or can't go outdoors because of white privilege. Excuse me? One moment we're living in huts, and the next moment you're telling us we can't go outside because of privilege. It's like, come on now. Come on. It's like the back and forth between these narratives is just so stupid. I have nothing else to say about that. I'm burnt out from these woke ads. You know what? I appreciate y'all coming on this whole biggest woke marketing fails ever montage. I hope that y'all found this entertaining as much as I did. Some of these ads were kind of passable. Some of them were some of the dumbest decisions I've ever made, or not that I made, child, that I've ever seen in my life. Thank you guys for your super chats and for tuning in for another episode of Respectfully. Be sure to go into the description, do the what's it called? A Quizlet quiz.
The survey.
The survey. Do the survey, letting us know how you like the show so far, and subscribe to PragerU.com for all sorts of great content. And I will see you on Thursday.